Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything from hair to fashion to skincare products. We'll talk about the latest trends in makeup, hairstyles, and anti-aging remedies. And we'll cover all of the newest fashion trends. If you have an interest in or questions about the beauty and fashion trends that might work best for you, the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast has got you covered.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Beauty Tips Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Colleen, and let's get into something a little bit different. So, I thought I would do something a little bit different than normal this episode. I thought I would get ready while podcasting with you guys and talk about what I'm doing and all that kind of good jazz, and maybe you can get ready with me too. And it'll be kind of like a fun hangout, get ready together kind of thing. So I was invited to a get-together with my husband and some of his co-workers. So I thought I would get ready while podcasting so we could just hang out. Now, let's get started then. So the first thing I've already done is I went and put my hair together, meaning honestly I just straightened it because I need a haircut so bad I don't know what it's doing. So I went and straightened my hair before this because I didn't really want to bring in a hair straightener into the area that I am podcasting in. Kind of a fire hazard a little bit. So let's start with moisturizer. I'm using the Cetaphil moisturizing cream. It says for very dry and sensitive skin, which, would you look at that? I'm both. So, I'm going to put a little bit all over my face to prep my base for makeup later, because I don't want to have a unprepped base. I need a barrier between my skin and the makeup that I'm going to put on my face later on. I am all sorts of moisturized, and I'm going to let that sit. So now that I'm all sorts of moisturized, I'm going to let that sit, and like I've said, I think I said in my last podcast, is that I do my eyebrows first. I think it's just a personal preference. So I'm going to start with eyebrow seam. I'm going to start with some, I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start with some eyebrow powder because I am going to an, I guess, event. It's not so much an event. I'm going to a get-together, and I want my eyebrows to look a little bit more put together than normal. It's kind of like an ASMR. Wow, I'm old. Kind of like an ASMR. I'm an old lady. No, it's like an ASMR video, kind of. Because you can hear me doing the things that I'm doing. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm going to brush my eyebrows up and into the shape that I like them the most. And they need a good trimming, but I'm a little too lazy at this moment to do that. So I'm just going to cheat it. I'm going to go into my eyebrow powder and fill in the areas that I feel are a bit sparse. Not the whole eyebrow, just areas I feel need a little bit more hair, I guess, is the best way to put it. Just the areas that need a little bit more hair. Now, my left eyebrow is, well, my eyebrows are definitely sisters, not twins. But my left eyebrow just doesn't grow as much hair as my right eyebrow does, so I need a little bit more help in the eyebrow department when it comes to my left eyebrow. I will be posting this look on the GSMC _ beauty tips Twitter and also on the GSMC Facebook page. The GSMC Beauty Tips Facebook page. Sorry about that. Now that I've got them semi-filled in, let's move on to the rest of the products that I'm going to put in my eyebrows. First, I'm going to take that spoolie brush, that eyebrow spoolie brush that I used in the beginning, and sort of blend that out a little bit and assess where I might need a little more help here and there. And I'm noticing that I have a little bit more of a sparseness on the left once again, and that I just missed a tad. And I'm going to add a little bit more to help that out. And I'm dropping things already. That's what I get for doing my makeup on a podcast. That's okay. I think this is definitely a fun idea for you and for me, and then we can do our makeup together. Now I'm going to move on to my next eyebrow product. I'm happy with where I'm at with the powder, so I'm going to move on to... I'm going to push my hair out of the way. Should have done that in the beginning, huh? I'm going to move on to my colored eyebrow gel. This is my Kush Fiber Brow Gel. I'm going to wipe off the excess kind of around the rim of it. Mine is really dirty because that's what I do, is I just wipe the excess, and then I'm going to go in and fill it in ever so slightly. Just going to brush it through the hairs, not too hard because I don't want too much pigment. And I'm going to be very careful. Now I'm going to take that spoolie one more time and run that through and then assess again. I know it's a lot of spoolie action. Now, I've got a little heavy-handed, I'm not going to lie. Eyebrows looking super dark. But that's okay. I'm just going to roll with it. That's what I'm going to do today. Now I'm assessing, deciding whether or not I need to fix anything, and I think I'm looking pretty good. I'm actually really excited with how this is turning out. It's kind of fun to be able to talk to you guys while I'm doing my makeup instead of just staring at my face the whole time and, I don't know, making weird faces. Everybody makes weird faces when they do their makeup. That's just how I do it. Now to finish off the eyebrows, I'm going to take my e.l.f. eyebrow and lash gel. I guess it's eyebrow gel and eyelash primer. And I'm going to take the eyebrow side, which is also kind of dirty. And I'm going to lightly and gently run that through my eyebrows. Just ever so slightly. Just to be a little careful with it. I don't want to go overboard because then my eyebrows are going to look crunchy. Now they're feeling a little weird. So I'm going to take that spoolie one more time. I know I'm back and forth with the spoolie all over the place. But I'm going to take that spoolie and run that through one last time just to shape it to the way I want it so that that gel will help it stay put. And I think I'm actually really happy with the way that that turned out. I can fix anything if I really need to later, but I'm loving the way this is looking. I'm gonna let this sit for a minute. That moisturizer's feeling pretty good. And we're gonna move on to eyes next. I think that's what I want to do. We're gonna move on to a good eyeshadow look, and I'll walk you step by step through what I'm gonna do, and then we'll go on to my base. I always do my eyes first, just because if I get eyeshadow fallout onto my face, I like to just have nothing on as a base to wipe it off, because I feel like even if feel like I've wiped it off enough when I've got a base on, I feel like there's still little streaks that I can see at least. Probably no one can, but I can, and it bothers me. Just a personal preference. Now, before we do the eyes, we're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, let's do some eyeshadow together, huh?
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to the GSMC Beauty Tips podcast. Now, before the break, we were doing my makeup. So, I'm doing my makeup, getting ready with you guys while you guys can get ready with me. Kind of like having a friend to get ready with. So I started, and the whole first section was my eyebrows. I know that sounds like a lot of time for my eyebrows. But now we're going to move on to the eyes, which is a very important focal point, obviously. So, I'm going to start out with some eyeshadow primer. I am using the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. I can word. I'm using the eyeshadow primer potion from Urban Decay in the anti-aging one. I know they have a few different ones. I like the anti-aging one. I just think it works. I tried the other ones and I think they work too. I just prefer the anti-aging one. So I'm going to put that all over my eyes. Try not to go overboard, because you can put too much eyeshadow primer on. That's a thing. You can do that. Don't go overboard. And also don't feel like you really need one, but it definitely helps if you're going to wear it all night long. And I am going out. I don't know for how long I'll actually be out, but this is going to help. Now, I used to set my eyeshadow primer, but sometimes I don't, just to feel, I don't know, sometimes I just feel it sticks some of the colors down better. Now, I'm not going to go overboard, I don't think, but we'll see where I go, because I don't actually have an idea of what I'm doing. So I have a MAC palette that I put together, and I'm going to go, let me pull out the color so I can actually tell you exactly what I'm going to use. I'm going to start out with putting Wedge, which is just a nice neutral brown color, all in my crease and kind of all around my eye with a fluffy brush. Let's see if you can hear it. I'm going to tap that off in circular motions, really focus on the edge. That's kind of just how I do all of the looks for at least my eye shape. And I really circular motions and focus more toward the edge and then bring towards the inner corner. Kind of windshield wiper into the inner corner, but swirl in the outer corner before I windshield wiper inwards. Now I'm going to dip back and do the other eye. Same thing, kind of circular on the outer corner and windshield wiper on the inner corner. Now, some people do one eye at a time. I prefer to do both at the same time so I can really get them as symmetrical as possible. That's a personal preference. I know people who prefer to do one eye at a time, but I am definitely more of a 2 eyes at a time, I guess. I like to do both at the same time just to make sure I'm doing that. Now, I have a mirror in front of me, but I'm going to grab another mirror that I have in a palette and turn towards my light source and check out what I'm working with here. This is going to really help me see if I've gotten everything kind of in that even space that I want to, and that they both look symmetrical. I think that looks good, and we're going to move on to our next color. Now, I'm going to go in with a little bit of Hot Fudge from the Jeffree Star Mini Breaker palette. Now, I really like this one. I got this one in a little mystery box. I think our other host talked about some Jeffree Star mystery box stuff in one of her other podcasts. If you're interested in listening to that, go check that one out. It's a very good one. I'm going to go in with a little bit of hot fudge on a very small fluffy brush. This is a different one than the one I used before. The one I used before was a very big fluffy brush. This is a very small fluffy brush that's a little bit denser. This is a Morphe brush. It doesn't have any numbers on it, so I can't tell you exactly what it was. And the other one was a BH Cosmetics number 11 brush. Now, I recommend Morphe brushes, and a Morphe brush is a little bit more than the BH Cosmetics, but BH Cosmetics are just as good, just a lot cheaper. Now, I'm going to focus this color just on my outer corner here, and I'm going to stamp it down just a little bit, going a little bit above my crease, almost like I'm drawing a little bit of a line, and then taking it down to my eyelash, just in that little bit of an outer corner. Now I'm going to go back into that BH Fluffy brush, and I'm just going to circular motion blend it until I get it really blown out. Now, the great thing about these Jeffree Star eyeshadows, wow, I almost said brushes, these Jeffree Star eyeshadows, is that it takes no time at all to get that blend that I'm looking for. And I am happy with that. And I'm going to do the exact same on the other side. Pretty much the exact same on the other side. This is how I usually kind of do my looks, my personal looks for myself, unless I'm going really out there. Now, I'm not going really out there because this is a very casual thing that I am going to. I am blending. And it's not something that I feel I'm going to need to be very dressed up for. This is very casual, but I still want to come bring in my A game look-wise. I want to look great, but also just chill. Now, I'm really liking the way that this is looking. I'm looking in that mirror towards my light source once again to really see where I'm at. I'm really liking how that's looking. Now, I'm going to go a little crazy, I think. Maybe. We're not sure yet. I think I'm going to add a little bit of purple. Now, I have two options for purple here. I'm talking about a matte purple. All these colors that I've used so far are matte colors because I've put them majority in my crease, and I really like a matte color in the crease, even though right now what's really popular is a shimmer in the crease. But that's to each their own. For my personal looks, I like this. Now I'm gonna go, I have a In Deep Trouble eyeshadow from NYX, or I have Purple Punch from the Jeffree Star. Now the NYX one is a single eyeshadow. The Jeffree Star is still in that same mini breaker palette. I think I'm going to go with the Jeffree Star, and I'm going to do this ever so lightly. Now I'm going in with another BH Cosmetics brush that's similar to my Morphe brush that's dense but fluffy, small, dense, and fluffy. But this one's a little bit more fluffy than the other one. This is just a smaller brush. You don't need so many brushes. Sometimes I do my whole look with one brush. But I'm just going to put this purple on the outer edge, kind of exactly where I put the other color. The other brown, the darker brown. I'm probably going to do exactly the same as that. Now, I'm going to do that with just a tiny little bit, because if I go too much, it's going to be more purple than I think I'm looking for. And once again, the technique that I like to use the most, that I think is a really good technique to follow, is to stamp it with the one brush and then blend it out with a big, fluffier brush. Just really take that fluffy brush and blend it out. You want a really good seamless blend between all the colors that you're using. Now, I'm blending on this eye, and I'm going to go and do my other eye. And when I come back, we're going to talk about if I'm going to put a little sparkle on my eye and move on to the next steps.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Beauty Tips podcast. Now, before the break, we were doing our eyes together. Now, the only thing that I've done different since we ended was I did go and add in a little bit of that darker purple from that single NYX eyeshadow in Deep Trouble. Now, I'm really liking the way it looks, but I don't think I'm going to add any sort of shimmer. I think I'm going to go matte. Now, I like a good matte look on the lid. I'm going to go back into that first color we used, the MAC Wedge. And I'm going to take a flat brush. Now, this is an It Cosmetics crease concealer brush, so it's fluffy on one end and it's a flat brush on the other end. I don't use this for concealer. I always use this for eyeshadow, and I'm gonna really dig in there, pick that up, and just take that all across the lid I have not touched with eyeshadow as of yet, and kind of into my crease to meld everything together. Now, I love a good matte look, but I think you could definitely add shimmer to the areas on the lid that I am adding a matte color to. This is just my personal preference and how I'm going to do it today, but I'm going to take my mirror, hold it up to my light source. This really is the best trick, and I'm going to check it out. I'm really liking the way that this is looking. Now, let's move on. Do I want to do eyeliner? Am I going to chance it? I'm not sure. I'm going to shake up. Let's see if you can hear the little ball in this. Oh, I bet you can. That's kind of cool. So this is a little sample size of Kat Von D's tattoo liner in the color Trooper, which is black. I don't think I'm going to wing, but I'm going to go along as close as possible to my lash line to really kind of fill it in a little bit darker. And maybe I'm actually going to wing it out because I messed up. That's just how makeup goes. Let me tell you, that's how makeup goes. You mess up, you kind of have to fix things. And it's always a game of fix it, of go back and fix it. Honestly, I have such easier time doing makeup on somebody else than I do on myself. And again, oh man, can I match this? We're about to find out. See, that's my downfall, is matching eyeliner. Now, I am good at a precision wing, but it's making sure it matches the other side that I have a problem with. And I'm not trying to do a precision wing here. I'm literally just trying to match my eyes. I think I'm getting okay. Kind of getting back to what I need it to be. Am I looking good? We're going to check in that same mirror thing again. And that's going to be okay. Now, I'm going to go in the inner corner with my eyeliner and really pull it all the way from the inner corner out. Now, I'm not doing a wing here. Like I said, I'm really just making a line and trying to make it look good. You know what? It looks like we're about to do a wing. See, this is how makeup goes. I'm a professional makeup artist, and I'm still having some trouble when it comes to makeup, and that's just life. Honestly, that's just how makeup works. It's always a bit of a struggle. Now, I think we're getting to a point where I'm feeling pretty good. I'm probably going to end up taking a darker color, maybe that dark purple again, and really smoking out this eyeliner, but I'm going to leave it alone. Because if I keep messing with it, I'm going to end up looking like a panda bear. Honestly. If I keep messing with it, you guys are going to be like, okay, now what are we doing next? I'm just listening to you try and struggle with your eyeliner. That's okay. I'm sorry. Let's move on. So I'm going to move on to my lower lash line. Sometimes I like to do my lower lash line before I do my base and then kind of work it around it, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take that dense, flat, fluffy brush, and I'm going to take a different color we haven't used yet. And this is MAC in Charcoal Brown. And I'm going to dip into that with my dense brush and really just kind of focus it on the outer corner of my bottom lash line. I'm going to focus it there and kind of drag it up into the eyeshadow that I have on my upper lid and just meld it together. And a little bit of that purple is being mixed in because I'm kind of blending it up and down as I do that. And that's okay because that's what we want to happen here. We want all our colors to blend together and really mesh together and look like one cohesive eye look. Now, it's hard to do your makeup in a tiny mirror in front of a microphone, but man, I am doing it. I'm actually having a great time doing this, and I hope you guys are doing your makeup along with me, because this is a lot of fun. Oh, and my magnet saved the day. Now, I really like the way this is looking. I'm going to take that fluffy brush one last time and go over all that I did underneath my eye and really blend that outwards. Now, I don't want to pull it down too much, because if I pull it down too much, I'm going to look like I've got raccoon eyes going on. Now, just enough to really blend out the color there. Now, I don't like a whole lot all the way into my inner corner unless I'm doing a halo eye. Now, I don't like to do this because I like to keep the inner corner open and make the eyes look pretty wide and doe-like. Now, I'm really liking how things are going at this moment. I think my eyes look good. I'm actually not getting any fallout, which is great, which is what we ideally want at the end of this. I'm going to go make sure everything is blended and really just continue to blend until I'm happy. And really kind of keep checking. Keep doing that mirror trick that we're talking about. The mirror trick where you take the mirror and you hold it to your light source. Not blocking your light source, but up to your light source and then look into it towards your light source, because that's really going to help you see what you've done onto your eyes. And the best way to do this is to sit in front of a window. If you sit in front of a window, that's just top tier. Put your mirror on the window sill, sit in front of the window, and you'll be able to see it all, and it'll be so So absolutely helpful in doing this. Now, I'm going to make sure everything's blended, and when I come back, we're going to move on.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hello and welcome back to the GSMC Beauty Tips Podcast. Now before the break we were finishing up on our eyes and we went a little bit crazier than we thought we were going to on our eyeliner, as is per usual in at least my everyday makeup. But this is a little elevated for an everyday since I am going somewhere for once in my life. I'm leaving my house. Sound the alarms. I'm going somewhere fun. Okay. Now, let's move on to eyelashes. Eyelashes make a big statement. There is a lot of times where I forget to do eyelashes, and that's just like a personal faux pas, and it's only on myself. When I'm looking at somebody else's face that I'm doing their makeup on, I see the difference that the eyelashes make. So I'm gonna start by taking... You know what? It's raining outside where I am right now, so I think I'm going to go for a waterproof mascara today, and I'm going to take the Milk Makeup Kush Waterproof Mascara, and it's in a little blue bottle. It makes a cool sound. Let's see if you guys can hear it. I hope you can hear that. That was a fun sound. And I'm going to take it out and just apply it towards the base and then outwards, towards the base and outwards. I don't want to apply too much mascara, so I'm already on my second eye. So I really want it on the base to go outwards. Now that I've applied the mascara where I want to, I'm going to take a spoolie. This is a different spoolie than the one that I used on my eyebrows. This is actually another It Cosmetics brush. That's the brow and liner, but I use the spoolie and I bend it into an L shape so it's easier to get on my eyelashes, and I take this and I separate my eyelashes. I just run it through while the mascara is still drying. I run it through my eyelashes, starting at the base as far down as I can get and really running it through to separate. Now this helps get rid of any clumps. Some people really like clumps in their mascara, and that's to each their own, but I'm not one of those people, and I really like the fluttery look it gives your eyelashes when you separate them with a spoolie, because it looks like you've got eyelash extensions or fake eyelashes on without the actual step of fake eyelashes. Now, I'm very happy with the way this is looking. I might do some on the bottom, but I might not. So I'm going to stick with that for now. Ooh, I'm so happy with the way this is turning out. I can't wait to share it with you guys. And I'm going to go into my Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I am running so low on this, so the sound that's about to come out of this tube is probably going to be a little weird. Roll up the sleeves and pump it into my hand. There we go. And I'm going to put this all over my face, targeting the most dry spots on my face, which actually is my whole entire face, to be honest with you. I am so dry, and it may be raining where I am right now, but that doesn't help my skin much, now does it? So really focusing this in my dry areas. I've got half my face done. Let's see if I can get some more out of this. I need to buy another one. I started with the sample size, as I think I told you guys in the last podcast. I started with the sample size, and I'm gonna go and buy the big one now. It's a little on the pricier side. I mean, makeup's pretty pricey as is, but I started with the sample size just to see if I liked it, and this stuff is 100% for me. Oh, come on. Get out of the bottle. That's probably a gross sound to you guys, and I'm so sorry. Okay, so now it's on the forehead, and we are looking dewy. Now this stuff I have to have sit for at least 2 minutes, and it gets kind of tacky. Now while that's sitting, I'm going to get everything else ready. I'm going to assess what I'm looking at and decide whether I want to go with what kind of base. I definitely need a base for this. I think we are going to go and use my beauty blender with my foundation. We're going to use the Sunshine Skin Tint. I've talked about most of these products that I'm using today in my last episode. We're going to go with the Sunshine Skin Tint in the color. I want to know what color I am, so if you guys are similar, you can tell me. I think it's light. In the color light. Light is a little yellowy. I definitely have yellow undertones to my skin. A little bit of pink, but definitely yellow is number one. Now, I've got my Wet Beauty Blender here. It's not an actual beauty blender. I think this is the Wet n Wild Beauty Blender dupe thing, but I really like this one because it's very soft and it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than Beauty Blender. Beauty Blender's like $20 for a sponge. And I'm gonna need a few sponges, so might as well buy a cheap sponge that works just as well. The Real Technique sponges work really well as well. Now I'm feeling my face and I feel like I'm ready for foundation. So I'm gonna move my hair out of my way and click up the foundation because it's kind of a click thing. Let's see if you can hear it. Did you hear that? It was so much fun. Okay, and it's got a little roller ball in it, so I'm going to kind of roll it on my face, starting with my cheeks, and I'm going to bounce that onto my face. I bet you can kind of hear that in there. And then I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. I'm working with small sections of foundation. I'm not going like a bunch on my face. I'm doing about like a small little streak and then bouncing that out and then checking and assessing what my face is looking like and seeing if I need to add a little bit more somewhere. So maybe a little on my chin. Just a very small little dot. I want to look like this is my skin, but a little bit better. I don't want to go overboard. Now, a little on my nose. See, this is the problem area, is the nose. So really work in small, thin layers. Go with less than you think you need. That's where I'm at. I'm going with less than I think I need. And now I'm assessing and seeing that I'm a little red on the right side at one particular space. I always get a little red right here, and I'm going to add a little bit more and right on top. I'm really liking the way this is looking. I'm going to finish up my foundation here, and we're going to take a really quick break once again, and when I come back, we can come and talk about my contour and highlight. Are you guys on your foundation step yet? Because that's where I am. See, I like to work pretty quick when it comes to this. This can take me, if I'm doing a regular, just like real quick kind of thing, this can take me less than 15 minutes. Probably about 10 if I've got everything in front of me. Now, I'm going to make sure and assess and make sure everything's looking just how I want it, and we'll come back and move on to the rest of the face.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Beauty Tips podcast. Now, before the break, we were doing our makeup together, and we are still. We just finished our base. Now, if you're an oilier person, now would be the time that I would start setting things with powder. If I really needed to, I would bake under the eyes if I had added concealer. Now, I decided not to add concealer today because my under eyes are surprisingly looking pretty good. I don't know what that is. I have not been sleeping as much as I would like to, so that's a surprise. But we are going to move on. I'm not setting with powder because I'm very dry and it is very cold outside, and that's not going to help my skin whatsoever. I'm looking nice and glowy like I want to, but I want to look a little bit more glowy. So I'm going to move on to highlight. Now, I still have my Wet n Wild sponge here. Not a beauty blender, but it looks like a beauty blender. And I was using the butt of it, the fatter end of the beauty blender, and now I'm going to use the triangle end. Now mine has a flat edge on one side, and this flat edge where the triangle is, I'm going to go into my highlighter. Now my highlighter is a cream. This is MAC Cream Color Base in Pearl. Now, this is a multi-use, but I like it specifically as a highlight. Now, I'm going to rub it in here, just on that tip edge of my beauty sponge. And I'm going to hit the high points of my cheeks with this. I'm going to hit the high points of my cheeks, assess where I put it, then take the butt of my sponge and blend it with that, because it's got some of my foundation still on it, and it'll really help to kind of blend that seamlessly in. That's one side done. I'm digging back in there and going on the other side now. I am looking very glowy and very happy with this result. I'm going to check in the mirror against my light. Ooh, dropping brushes. And see if I'm at the highlight that I like. I like a bit more highlight, but I think if I add any more, I'm going to look like a nut. That's my problem. A little bit more highlight, sure, and then I look like a disco ball. So I'm going to take what's left on my sponge, run a little bit in between my eyebrows, and that's because my nose dips in just a little bit. Did I add too much? I might have added too much. Oh no, that's just enough. And I'm going to really bounce that with the back end of my beauty blender, or my beauty sponge. Let me re-say this. The back end of my beauty sponge. There we go. Now I'm going to take a tiny bit above my eyebrows, just above the arch of my eyebrows, just a little bit, the same leftover that's on my sponge, and I'm going to blend that out. And then a little bit on my Cupid's bow, right above my lip. And I'm liking the way that's looking. I'm feeling very glowy. I really love a glowy look. If I haven't gotten that across at all in any of these podcasts that I've talked to you. So I'm done with the highlight, and let's move on to contour. Now I'm going to go into that palette that I made, this MAC palette, once again, but in here is, let me pull it out to see if it has anything on the back. So this is a little thing from not Avon, Mary Kay, that my mother-in-law gave me, and it's in the color Latte. I think it's supposed to be like a contour, but I like the color. I'm just not a big fan of the formula itself. I think it can be a little patchy if you don't work with it. So I'm taking an It Cosmetics brush. This is a powder brush. I can't find my contour brush. I think it's in my kit, and I should have checked before, but I'm just going to use this. You can really use a lot of brushes for a lot of different things. I'm going to dip in just ever so lightly, tap it off, and I'm going to take it right where I want it in the hollows of my cheeks, starting back at my ear, bringing it down a little bit, and then swirling that. I talked about swirling your contour in another one of these, and it really helps to give that illusion you've got a little bit of a sunken cheek, because you don't really want to bring it down too far, otherwise you'll look like a corpse. That's what I do when I'm doing like a corpse makeup, is I bring it real far down and down towards the jawline, and that's not what we want. We want to look just kind of chiseled. We want that Angelina Jolie in Maleficent, but not like prosthetic cheekbones. We just want a little bit of that. That's all we want. And when I'm doing this, I'm making sure to kind of get it up so that we're getting into that highlight, and not all the way up into the highlight, obviously, because we don't want a muddy highlight, but this will help blend everything seamlessly. I'm doing a quick check. I think I need a little, I might not need a little more. That's the first time I've done that pretty quick. Now, sometimes I'll take it on my temples, just a little bit. I think I'm just using the excess. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to look way too chiseled, and I'm not going to take it under my jaw. That's just a personal preference of mine. I'm not a fan of taking a contour down onto the jaw. Now, I'm really loving how I'm looking, and I think I'm done with the majority. Now, the only thing that I have to do from here would be my lips and a setting spray. Now, I've just found my setting spray. I'm going to use the NYX Dewy Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. We're going to shake it up. You hear that? La, 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 la. I'm going to move my hair out of the way because I hate it when I get setting spray in my hair, but that's just a personal preference too. If I'm doing a client, I will cover their hair with hands as much as possible, or with even like pieces of paper and stuff to make sure that it doesn't get in there, because that can disrupt whatever they're going to do on their hair. And I'm going to do some spritzes. Okay, that's enough. Too much. Don't go overboard. So this is something that I did want to talk about too, is going overboard with setting spray. Now, you see the people on YouTube or wherever, Instagram or whatever, and you're watching them do their makeup and they're just drowning themselves in setting spray. A lot of times too, though, they are kind of just drowning themselves in powder and then drowning themselves in setting spray, and that can help to kind of break down the powder a little bit, make it sink into the skin a little bit, but I really feel like you don't need it. Like, you don't drown yourself in setting spray, because you can actually kind of break up the makeup underneath, and you can break up all that work that you just did. And you don't want to do that. You want your makeup to look great, and once you've gotten to a point where you feel like, oh, this is so great, that kind of thing, you don't want to just start drowning it. You don't want to ruin it. You want to keep your makeup looking exactly how you've been working so hard to achieve, to the point where you're going to feel fabulous. Now, mine's already sinking into my skin. I'm looking so dewy and so fresh, and I'm so happy about this outcome so far. And I think the next thing we have to do is pick out a lip color. Now, I'm going to take another quick break, and when I come back, we're going to go over all the different lip colors that we could pick for this. I really hope you're having fun doing your makeup along with me. I'm having such a great time doing my makeup with you guys. Let me know if you like this. And if you do, tweet me like the photos of the makeup that you're doing at GSMC_beauty tips, because I'm having a good time. I really hope you guys are too.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to the GSMC Beauty Tips podcast, and we are in the home stretch, my friends. Before the break, this entire time, we've been doing our makeup together, and we are in the home stretch. Our base is done, our eyes are done, our eyebrows are looking like sisters, not twins. Now we are on to lips. I'm going to start off by making sure I don't have anything nasty sticking to my lips. That's one thing that I noticed that, like, sometimes people don't do is they don't check their lips, and then they put lipstick on, and then there's, like, stuff hanging. Yeah, check your lips. Check your lips. I don't have anything. Oh, I got a little bit of chocolate. I'm a liar. Oh, get it off. Alright. No more chocolate. We are in the clear. Now, sometimes what I like to do is take a clean spoolie, specifically a silicone spoolie, and kind of rub it against my lips to get off that excess gunk. Do that to a client as well. And I'm going to take the MAC Prep and Prime for the lip. It just says Prep and Prime lips, so I don't know what else to call it. And I'm going to put that on my lips. This is super moisturizing, but then it turns like sticky to like hold on whatever I put on top of it. So I'm going to start with this and just put that on. And then I'm going to look. Why does that kind of smells like butterscotch? What sorcery is this? Hello? Okay, so now that we've put that on and decided that it kind of smells like butterscotch and we're really confused, we're going to move on to what options we have. So this is, like I said, a more casual thing. And so I'm looking at some options I pulled out, and I've got one MAC lipstick, and this is my favorite in Velvet Teddy. Now this one would go pretty good, but it would almost make I'm not sure. It feels a little warm for me, but I don't want to go too gray to the point where I look dead. Sometimes I do like that look, and I do have some lipsticks like that. And I have, what else is this? This is Bow and Arrow by Kat Von D. Now, what I like to do is open up the lipstick. If it's a bullet, I just twist it up. If it's a liquid lip like this, I like to pull it out because the color is not, most of the time, not true to what it is in real life, and I like to hold it up next to my lip and kind of look at the color matching with my eyes and everything else. This would be a good color. Ugh. Those ones smell a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna smell all these too. I'm just gonna let you know. So I'm not sure about that. The next one I have is a Jeffree Star liquid lip in the color Family Jewels. I really like this one. This one definitely dries a little darker, so I need to keep that in mind. These are all a little more on the neutral side. I might really go with that. I like this color a lot. I might actually feather out, but we'll see what we do. Now, I've got 2 from the ColourPop X Sophia Nygaard collection. These are still available, that's why I'm talking about them. I thought it was going to be like a limited release, but these are available now and will continue to be, so if you're curious of colors, you can actually look it up and find them. This is in the color Bikini Bottom. That's really close to Bow and Arrow. I might, maybe. And of course, I pulled out, like I always talk about, I pulled a red, and this red is called Fred. Ooh, that's a pretty deep red. I might do a little bit of that too. Let's see. What could I do? Let's play. Now this is the part of my makeup look that I like to do the most, is kind of play around with the colors I have, really kind of brush them out and make them real feathery, because I'm not a big fan of a harsh lip line. So maybe I'll do a little bit of Family Jewels kind of in the center, and then I'm going to blot it out with my finger and my lips. Just a little bit in the center, on the bottom and the top, and here I go. And then really kind of feather that out with my fingers. And it looks interesting. Alright, I'm liking the way that is looking. I'm gonna once again do the technique that I've been telling you guys this whole time, which is hold your mirror up towards the light and look at what you got. I like the way this is looking. I might add a little bit more. Now, my lip line is not... Oh, there goes a lipstick. My lip line is not the straightest. I mean, most people's aren't. We're human beings. So, most of the time, the right side of my lips kind of looks more feathered out than the left side, and that's just my lips as a whole. And sometimes I try to cheat it, but most of the times I just kind of let it be, because that's just me. And you should always kind of be true to yourself. You don't really need to. Unless you're doing something like super important and you really want that sharp line, or that's the look you're going for, then go for it. This kind of looks like I ate something. I like that. I just keep kind of bouncing my lips up and down to get that real feathered effect. The one thing that they don't show you in like YouTube videos or Facebook videos or whatever it is when they're like patting things with their fingers, it's all over their fingers. It's all over my finger right now. And I'm gonna let that dry on my finger and then take it off, because if I do it now, I'm just gonna make a freaking mess everywhere. I am a hot mess sometimes. Oh, I really like the way that looks. It's so cute. Now, my makeup is officially done. I really hope your guys' is done too at this point. We have been here together doing our makeup, really kind of explaining what I'm doing as we're going, and just kind of being friends. I like being friends with you guys, and doing my makeup with you, you know, gives you a buddy to do your makeup with, listen to talk, or what have you. And I really enjoyed it. If you sat and did your makeup with me, send me photos. I want to see how beautiful you are looking today. And I really hope you achieve the look you were going for. I didn't know what I was going for, and I kind of winged it. I just winged it. That's what I did. And I really like the way it came out. I am going to I wouldn't call it a party. It's like a normal, a human get-together, a human interaction get-together. Which obviously you can tell I go out so much. But I don't really get to do makeup for those kind of things that often, so I'm really excited about this. I love to do makeup on other people. I love to do makeup on myself, but mostly other people. I feel like I've got more creative control when I'm looking head on at the full canvas in, like, from every angle, basically. But I really, really, really want to thank you guys for sitting down, doing your makeup with me, listening to me do my makeup, hopefully while you guys did yours. I want to thank you for listening to the GSMC Beauty Tips podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm going to post this look on Twitter at GSMC_Twitter and probably on the Facebook as well, which is the GSMC Beauty Tips Facebook. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network, from health and wellness to entertainment and life and happiness to sex and relationships. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast.